December 6th, Delta flight from New Orleans to Atlanta. This woman boards her flight. She's in the middle seat. On the window is another woman. She sits down, and then a man comes and sits in the aisle seat. This man, who she says is having a phone conversation wherein he loudly refers to the all-female flight crew as Nazis and strippers, and says stuff like, "I dare these Nazis to come tell me to get off my phone." So right away, she's kind of concerned for the flight staff. She says he has a couple of phone conversations where he talks about a myriad of topics. He talks about all the pedophiles in DC and how he can't wait for them all to be exposed and taken out. He talks about a recent Doge report from Elon Musk that says only 1% of federal employees show up to work, just spouting a bunch of ridiculous conspiracy theories. But the flight's ready to take off, so he hangs up his phone and he goes to sleep. And that's when the groping starts. She says, while he's asleep, he puts his head on her shoulder and she says, "Hey, stop that," pushes him off. Then he puts his arm around her and she elbows him and says, "Get off me, stop that." Then, in his sleep, he puts up the armrest. And that's when he starts moving his hand to her leg. This photo and the video that I show you wasn't taken by her. It was taken by the woman sitting in the window seat who witnessed this happening and told her, "I'm retired FBI. I'm documenting this." That was the time that he slid his hand to her inner thigh and tried to touch her crotch. She elbowed him, told him to fuck off, and all the while he never woke up, never acknowledged her. Now, she didn't let flight crew know because she and the woman in the window agreed that they were afraid that he was dangerous and would harm them. And the woman's like, "I'm documenting it. I'm reporting him as soon as we land." So they were just trying to deal with him. And before you come with "she shoulda," "I woulda," you're not in the situation. You weren't there. You don't know for sure what you would do. So please spare those comments. But then the flight lands. And as they're landing, he wakes up. It's a miracle. And then in those moments, as she's sitting there still processing what has happened, he turns to her. He's never acknowledged her at any point before this, she said. Never spoke to her before this. Turns to her and says, "I'm sorry. I didn't sleep last night. And I thought you were my wife. And yeah, dude, I noticed your fucking wedding ring. You thought she was your wife, so you know what you did. You know what you were doing, and you were trying to justify it with, I was just sleeping. That's the reason that my one hand's on my dick and the other one is groping you, because I thought you were my wife. You fucking piece of shit." She's flustered, she's scared, and she has 20 minutes to catch her connecting flight. So the woman who is sitting at the window says, "You go, I'm going to report him. Here's my number." She takes off for her flight. That woman does report him to the flight crew and to the gate attendants. And you know what they say? "Should have told us during the flight." Not really anything we can do about it now. Now, I'll give them this. I could see them saying that because the victim is not there, right? But she went on to contact Delta later. You know what Delta said? Should have told her flight crew. They're trained for this. We don't care that you were looking out for their safety and well-being. You should have told them. So now, guess we can't do nothing. She contacted the FBI as well, at the behest of that retired agent. You know what the agent she spoke to said? "What were you doing in New Orleans? Why were you there?" Not relevant, but I was there for work. Okay, when did you first interact with him? In the airport? Were you guys talking? Were you hanging out? Did you have drinks with him? What did you do to make him think this was okay? What part of this was your fault? Was essentially the takeaway that she got. This is why I have to do this. Because the system, time and again, fails victims, blames victims, gaslights them into thinking that somehow it was their fault because they're just lazy and inept and don't care. And so here we are. This has to happen. This has to make the community rise up and say, "No, fuck this. This is unacceptable." So New Orleans or Atlanta, because I don't know where he was coming or going. Take a close look at this. He said things on the phone call, she said, that led her to believe that he's a physician. But I promise someone knows who this guy is. And he has a wife who I'd really, really like to make sure sees what he did when he thought it was her while sleeping. So, someone, do me a favor and tell me who he is.